Denver 7 News starts right now.
Oh, this is more like it, a real spring storm blanketing parts of Colorado, making for some tough driving conditions out there, pretty slushy in areas. The south and west sides of the metro once again taking the brunt of this one, and we have team coverage on the storm this morning. Stacey Donaldson is in the Weather Center tracking the forecast and how long the snow will last. Denver 7 reporter Amanda Del Castillo is live in Parker to show us the neighborhood conditions in that area. But first, Katie LaSalle is off I-70 in Genesee, one of the areas that really got hit hard. Katie, how's it looking out there?
Yeah, good morning to you, Eric. It's still really coming down. I want to talk about the current weather conditions here and then also what we've seen coming out here on the roads. But it's April, it's the end of April, and it has snowed a lot here. We're talking about 5-6 inches on the ground, but it's still, as you can see, the pavement really wet, so it's been warm. So mostly just wet roads in and around the metro, but taking a look at I-70 near Genesee, right now it's chilly. It's about 20 degrees. So if you are heading out soon, hopefully you're nice and comfortable and bundled and warm on this Saturday morning. But if you want to hit the roads, we've seen a lot of people that have been excited to maybe get up to the mountains. We still have Loveland and A-Basin, Winter Park, the Mary Jane area there for skiing and snowboarding. But this is I-70 right now. We've seen parades of clouds both directions, so they've really helped the roads out. Traffic running smooth as of right now, but as you can see, the volume heading west is picking up with a lot of people probably wanting to take advantage of the fresh powder. We've going to continue to see these conditions throughout much of the day today. I'm out here with meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen and our First Alert weather chaser, and we will be out here talking about the conditions all morning long. I have, full disclosure, started to build a snowman, so we'll keep you posted on that development too throughout the morning hours. But stick with us. Our meteorologist Stacey Donaldson is in the Weather Center for us this morning. And Stacey, what does it look like for the rest of the day and all across Colorado?
Well, it looks like it's going to be snowy for today for the Front Range and parts south. And I love to hear that there are parades of plows out there. It's much better to hear that than there are none. But for the Front Range, it is still snowing. It will continue through the rest of the day. And for our area, that's great news, as we've seen on the roads, that we're seeing the accumulation on the grassy areas and the trees and the plants, but not on the roads necessarily. A lot of it melting off because it's been so warm lately. So that's one of the demarcations between a true winter storm and a springtime storm. We have very heavy wet snow, but it's melting once it hits the ground. You may have some slippery spots in areas, especially in the overpasses, but for the most part, a lot of this is melting and the roads aren't too bad. There's a lot of snow here for the Front Range. It's completely covered for our area and parts east. It looks like we're going to see a few more inches of snow today, and then down through southeastern Colorado and up toward Burlington. Looks like significant snowfall will continue for tonight and tomorrow especially, but we'll have snowy conditions today. Things should be tapering off by tonight though. Our overnight lows will be in the 20s tonight, but highs today only in the mid 30s. And we're going to be talking more about the timeline for this snowfall as we go through the rest of the day, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Stace, the south side of the town was a target for this storm. Palmer Divide, Douglas County, that includes Parker, and that's where we find Denver 7's Amanda Del Castillo live to show us the conditions in that area near Main Street. Hey there.
Good morning. Yeah, it's coming down here in Parker. We're right off of Clark Farms Drive. And while we were driving through the neighborhood, we saw a lot of the accumulation on some of these trees. This one right here, you can tell that the branch actually snapped because of the weight of the snow. Again, we're seeing that throughout this area here, again, just off of Clark Farms Drive. Now, this branch came down. You can see that it's onto the sidewalk, really blocking anyone from walking through here. Barely missing a truck. But again, it's in the street right now. We are going to be following kind of what it looks like here in Parker as the snow continues to come down. Looking like a winter wonderland out here. But live in Parker, Amanda Del Castillo, Denver 7.
Yeah, that's near my neighborhood. Yikes. Well, new this morning, one person was arrested after crashing with a Denver police officer. The police cruiser was T-boned by another car late last night on 20th and Park Avenue. This is video. The officer was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We got that update this morning. The other driver of the car was taken into custody. It's unclear what exactly led up to this crash. Well, a simple concept may help people living in one Denver neighborhood fight crime. We've reported on several gun violence cases in northeast Denver. While police are involved, one council member is stressing the importance of neighbors getting to know each other, especially as many communities see big changes in the economic and racial diversity of their neighborhoods. This concept doesn't just apply to northeast Denver. Many parts of our city are seeing similar transitions of older neighborhoods with new interest by younger families. State oil and gas leaders say there is no evidence so far that a natural gas leak triggered a fatal house explosion in Firestone, but the most critical test results are still to come. This is video of investigators taking soil samples in the neighborhood. A Stanford professor and leading expert on these types of wells explains two possible scenarios. One, methane could have leaked out of the ground under the house, or the leak could have come from gathering lines which take gas from the well to the processing plant. All right, President Trump reaches a milestone today as he has now officially been in office for 100 days. Karen Travers takes a look back at what he has done so far.
It's a mixed bag for the Trump administration at the 100-day mark. Some hits, some misses. But one thing is clear. After campaigning for the White House on his terms, President Trump is still doing things his way and shaking up Washington. The White House considers one of its top accomplishments the nomination and confirmation of Neil Gorsuch.
I can say this is a great honor. And I got it done in the first 100 days. That's even nice. You think that's easy?
But administration officials insist it's been a flurry of activity. Nearly 36 executive orders, including one restarting construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, another to beef up border security. That missile strike on Syria earlier this month, a quick response from the president after he was deeply impacted by the Assad regime's chemical attack.
It was a slow and brutal death for so many. Even beautiful babies were cruelly murdered in this very barbaric attack.
But White House officials universally agree the failure of the Republican plan to repeal and replace Obamacare was a tough setback.
So I'm disappointed. I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you.
But there's also the president's controversial travel ban, a key part of his campaign platform. The first version, quickly blocked in federal court, later withdrawn and replaced by a revised order, also blocked in federal court.
Immigration is a privilege, not a right. And the safety of our citizens must always come first, without question.
And there's the ongoing staff turmoil. President Trump firing his national security advisor Michael Flynn after just 23 days on the job. Frequent headlines about infighting in the West Wing and the rising influence and expanding portfolios of the president's daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner. A candid President Trump said this week in an interview that he thought this work would be easier. For the next 100 days, expect his administration to start tackling opioid addiction, negotiating tax reform, and continuing to push for a repeal of Obamacare. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
The president's tax plan and immigration are two big topics here in Colorado. On tomorrow's Politics Unplugged, KNUS radio talk show host Krista Kafer tells Ann Trujillo why she thinks people appreciate what the president is doing for immigration.
The immigration issue is huge in Washington. It's huge here. Do you think that what's happening in Washington will affect our races as we move forward here in Colorado?
You know, I don't know, because a lot of people appreciate that the law is actually being put into place and being administered. I think there's been frustration, particularly among Republicans, that the laws have been on the books, and yet so many people seem to avoid any consequence. The fact that President Trump has focused primarily on criminal aliens, people who have broken the law, in addition to the laws of being here illegally, I think that it means that I think far more people are going to appreciate what he's done than not appreciate it.
Krista also grades the president on his first 100 days in office. You can hear that conversation tomorrow at 4, right here on Denver 7. And you still have a few weeks to help us collect 160 tons of food for Colorado's hungry. Denver 7, ARC Thrift Stores, and Volunteers of America are partnering up for the Feed Colorado food drive. You can drop off any non-perishable foods at any ARC Thrift store by May 15th. We've put all the information on thedenverchannel.com. Just go to Spotlight on the homepage. 7:09, a school bus driver puts his training to the test after a truck collides head-on with the bus. The dramatic moments caught on camera. And all eyes are on the sky as the metro area braces for more snow throughout the morning. We're tracking conditions all hour.